want to get your hot take, your personal impressions, and then I kind of want to move on to the second part of the first Descendant topic, and that is, could this actually be one of the best free to play games, most polished free to play games in quite a bit? But let's get your impressions of the game.
All right, so just like we were talking about Division, and in particular Division 1 with the Dark Zone and the gunfire down the street, that's one of the main things I love about this game. Like, there can be other Descendants in your persistent world, and you'll hear the gunfire and you go check it out, and it sounds amazing. You hear the echoes, the reverberation off the buildings or caves or whatever, and you go to check it out, and it's like somebody might be struggling with a swarm of enemies. You shoot one of the enemies, now you're in their like little event type of thing. You can help them out and you get the rewards for that. So it actually calls back to like what I loved about the Division, where you can help out other agents and stuff like that in the Dark Zone. So it's like, oh, well, they're having trouble, let me go help them out. Oh, and I benefit from, joining this, this event. I get some of the drops and stuff. So the gunfire, the sound, that's top notch as far as I was concerned. Then just the gunplay itself. It's not like these are laser pointers or anything like that. There is recoil. It is manageable, and there are upgrades that you can get as far as some of the loot drops. They'll help with the the accuracy or the recoil on your weapon. So it has all of those fundamentals for like a looter shooter to improve your weapons and things like that. And then as your player levels up, that also improves a lot of those things as well. And the variety, and without even having to worry about gear as far as like the armor that you have on or anything like that, they focus more so on the add-ins as far as like the modules that will allow your character to have these buffs or certain skill abilities, kind of like what gear would have. So it takes some of that randomness where you're like searching and hunting for this specific trait on this specific gear and it never drops. It's like, no, it's more like you can get up leveled versions of modules. Like, you'll find probably what you're looking for. You're always on the hunt for a stronger version of it, or something that might work in combination with your reactor or the particular weapon that you have. And once you get all those check marks on the reactor, now you have some of that synergy that you find in other gear related, loot or looter shooters and things like that, where, oh, well, this weapon will now shoot frost damage, freeze the enemies, and then make them more brittle for weak point damage and stuff like that. So you get all of that same like nerdy number and percentage stuff that I like from these types of games, but without having to, hunt and struggle for, oh, I need that chess piece because, this type of thing and whatnot. But overall, out the gate, yes, they had some server issues, but let's be clear, what game that's a multiplayer, a big multiplayer game, doesn't have some server issues? And by and large, this is probably some of the most minimal server issues I've seen out of what I wouldn't say they're a new studio, but for a new IP, yeah, this was a much better implementation as far as fixes. Like, even during some of the maintenance, people were able to get in, and some of them, if you jump in during maintenance and you lose progress, it's kind of yourself to blame. But luckily, knock on wood, I didn't lose any of that progress and stuff. Got in and I realized, okay, they're having some issue. They're probably working in the background. Let me just take a break from it for a bit. And then not even like an hour later, I think it was fixed. Then they had some more issues, which, keep in mind, this game had, was it like 240,000 concurrent players just on Steam? And we know,
Yes.
like, if you play it, and I love the fact that this is a multi-plat, cross-play, cross-progression, cross-save game. Like, you'll see people with like little monitors for PC. I think if you're on a certain platform, you'll see your logo for those that are on the same platform, and then you'll just see a controller if it's the other platform. Because I've tried it even on PlayStation, which, by the way, it doesn't run as smooth, but they'll probably get that.
Yeah, we'll get into the potato.
But yeah, this game looks gorgeous. Like, yes, it's expected to look gorgeous on a PC, but even on the Series X, like, it's UE5, which UE5 games, for the most part, have struggled to do 60 this generation. Now, I'm pretty sure Coalition will have all that figured out when they release E-Day, but
yep,
like most E5 or UE5 games don't do 60 smooth and almost locked. Like, I think you really have to have like a swarm of enemies and all of them exploding at the same time to see screen drops. Like, the only real screen drops I've seen have been like in the hub world where there's like a lot of people. I guess you have like 30 in your instance or something like that,
You get
or
like a
32.
stutter that you'll
Yeah,
notice. That the character animation will kind of look a little wonky, but that I've only gotten that when there are like 20 or 30 people running around. You see names all over the place. Like, wow, this is packed.
exactly. But yeah, this game, for the price of free, you get a lot of activities. Now, I know some people are probably like, oh, well, some of the activities are kind of repetitive. Well, that's the loop in most looter shooters, whether you play Destiny, whether you play Division, or any other looter shooter like that. Some of the events are going to get repetitive, but it's the fun of hunting for the better weapon drop or the better module drop, or just having fun with friends, killing bosses, and then let's run again so I can get more material so I can upgrade this other thing I'm looking to upgrade, or upgrade this other character, or let me try this other character that I finally unlocked and see what their abilities are like. All right, they're a little squishy, but hey, they have electric like shock treatment type of stuff from running around or jumping around and stuff like that. So for me, this game learned, unlike Anthem, it learned from what it considers its competition. It learned from Destiny. It learned from the Division and a lot of things that people enjoyed about those games, and implemented it in a great way. Like the fast travel, flawless. Well, I wouldn't say flawless, but it's like so quick. It's not like Destiny, not knocking Destiny, but it's like, you're in your ship. It's like, oh, I'm traveling to this other thing, and it's like, oh, it could be like 10 seconds. I don't even think it lasts 10 seconds. Like, I think it gives you a little blurb of like some sort of lore, and then it's like, oh, you landed in the planet. All right. So it's like travel is real quick. Jumping into a public match, like when you get to like the main end port for like this little world, um, like getting a match, I think is like a matter of seconds kind of thing.
Yep.
Sure, there's a lot of people playing, but it seems like even if you go back and try to level up another character, or you're now almost in end game where not everybody has made it to just yet, you're still not having like a lot of load time. And I think part of it is due to the fact that you have crossplay. That's the big thing. Just the fact that you can be an Xbox player, have another Xbox player, a PlayStation player, and a PC player in your squad, and everybody's working together. I mean, I don't have comms on unless I'm in a party or something like that, but you can easily turn comms on. Um,
Yes.
and if you don't feel like talking, you can do text, which might break the immersion a little bit, but you can still do like text chat and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And then you got emoticons or emotion things that you
Yeah.
can kind of tell people, all right, stop, or let's go here, or follow me, or something along those lines. So there's just so much that they did right out of the gate. And I know we'll get into comparing it to other stuff, but it's like all of those other games, when they started, like when Vision first came out, it was a little rough in the dark zone. And the same thing with Destiny. Vanilla Destiny, I'll be honest, I did not enjoy one bit. But this right off the rip, this just speaks to me in a way that I'm already hooked. Haven't bought the season pass yet, but I probably will buy the season pass
I'm
before
gonna
this
do
month
that
is out.
today. I'm actually gonna do that today. Again, I didn't want to invest a significant amount of money just in case.
Hmm.
As I said, I like Pong Soul. I got 2 hours in, and I'm like, oh my god, I could feel the itch already. So like a like a Krakadonian, I'm like, I'm dropping $20.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna get the season pass. And drop a couple more coins. I'm just gonna cash in some Xbox points. I think I'm sitting at 356,000, something like that. Or no. I'm closer to 300,000, not 300. I wish it was 356,000. That'd be ridiculous. But look, I want to expand on something that Fuzzy said. And again, I see a lot of questions. It is PvE. There is no PvP. It's just you versus you and whoever you roll into versus the world. And they have boss battles. I did one of them. It was massive. It was a massive walker that took a lot of teamwork. And I think what I want to kind of stress here is Fuzzy hit the nail on the head perfectly about other people in the world, because the one thing that jumps off right off of the screen is the sound. Because normally when you're in proximity of other players, you see their names. But if you're a little further out where you don't see their names and you hear the gunfire, like, oh snap, something's going on, and it's loud. and it's from the distance. It's done so well. It just pings your ear enough that you're like, something is going on. And the transition of you being now becoming a part of what they're doing is instantaneous. It is unbelievable how quick it is. How many times I've come across, like, you see the pink things on your screen, those are missions that you were required to do. They're like you're right in front of you. See the screen right there, that little like pink flag thing. Those are required missions that you have to complete. Now, there's been some times where I've tried missions on other parts of the world and I get smoked. And I'm just by myself and I'm like, all right, so you know what? Let me just try a different one. And then you come back and you'll see it. This is what pops up. This is when you start the mission. Now, if someone were to see me fighting a bunch of other people and they shoot one bad guy, instantaneously a part of the party. It's unbelievable. Look, here, see how it just happened? This character just saw me fighting. She jumped in, and we wound up rolling like 6 missions together. We didn't even say a word. She followed me, I followed her, and it was freaking awesome. Like, it was so much fun. Now, granted, it's been a lot of talk about why you shouldn't play this game or why it's ripping off Destiny. Or what's the other one that they said it's ripping off with the ninja robots?
Warframe.
Warframe. That's another one that's being compared to. Look, not every game is going to be for everyone, ladies and gentlemen. This game may not be for you. I can tell you that if you like Destiny, if you like The Division, whether it be 1 or 2 or both, if you like free to play games that give you a lot to do, this is it. Now, yes, there are microtransactions, and some of them, I think they need adjusting. If I would have a complaint, there would be 2. 1, the grappling isn't the greatest. They need to kind of tighten that up a little bit for me anyway, especially on when you aim it. You'll see me grappling around. If you don't hit it directly on the corner, you'll fall down like you saw me happen a couple of times just before this board that I'm on now. They need and that will get adjusted. And some of the pricing kind of needs a little bit of an adjustment, in my opinion. Now, is anything really egregious? Not really. It is a free-to-play game. I am going to tell you, and this is where we're going to kind of move along into it being one of the best free-to-play design games that I think I've ever played, especially when it comes to like the cutscenes, the voice acting, the shooting, the jumping. I am going to say that if you are a looter shooter guy or gal, this is your game. They give you so much loot. It's unbelievable. I found myself actually 15, 20 minutes just going through the gear and upgrading and adding the modules and making it have frost damage or electric damage. It is, again, if this is the type of game that you enjoy, the fun is limitless. I am going to say that the transition to jumping into someone's party is probably my favorite because you don't really have to talk. I like Fuzzy Belvedere. I have my mic off because, again, time for me is where I run it. That's my biggest bad guy's time. I don't have as much as I would like. So if you want something that you can jump in for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, take 2 missions, 3 missions, 4 missions, and get a bunch of loot and then come back later, this is definitely the game for you. The one thing that I kind of want to really touch on, Fuzzy, and I want to go right back to you, is some of the hate that this game is getting. I've seen some egregious takes, and some of which from the gaming media. No names here. We don't have to throw anybody on the bus. They'll expose themselves. Pause for that. But listen, play the game. It's free to play. You can get into this and you can spend hours not spending a single dime. And if it's for you, maybe you drop $5, maybe you drop $10, maybe you do a Pong Song and you say, you know what, I'm dropping $70 because I feel this game is worth it. It's going to steal 100 hours of my time. Think about that for a second. There are games that you buy for $70 that you run through in 8 hours and you're kind of done. This is not one of those games. Now, again, your money is your money. Spend it how you feel is necessary. I personally think that the $20 that I have dropped was well worth it. Again, I'm going to drop some more coin today. I do want to get the season pass. I am really, really enjoying this.